My name is Rhea Edge. I'm Chair of Fine Arts and Education at Eureka College, and I am an environmental artist and painter. Since childhood, I've been interested in animals and the environment, and my early work reflects this as well. Many of my early influence come from growing up in Chicago. I was able to visit the Art Institute and look at the paintings and the large-scale paintings by Monet and the Impressionists. I also had a special interest in the Museum of Natural History, where I looked at the dioramas of the animals and then also the zoos. This influenced my interest in preservation of animals, and it relates a lot to my scale and the power in my imagery. I think of myself as a real artist who's been an artist since early childhood. I've had the same convictions and the same interests, though I've tried a lot of different media and a lot of different directions for the work. The studio is a private world. The thoughts and emotions and struggles and plans and labor that the artist goes through may not be known to the larger community. And in this case, my conviction and belief that environmental preservation is the most important topic of our time and deserves attention gives me an opportunity to share this with you in a more major way. I've spent my life invested in these subjects, and now I'd like to offer them back and really open my heart and my mind to you and share with the community everything that this has been about for many years. Especially now, given the hurricane and global warming, this subject matter is very important, and educating others and helping others understand what it's like to be a communicator with a mission and conviction is very important. This work is about my travels to the tropics with my companion Dale Birkenholtz. And Dr. Birkenholtz was a biologist at Illinois State University, and we shared an intense interest in nature study, the future survival of habitats and animals, and we spent a lot of time together investigating particularly areas around the equator, the tropics. This tied in well with my interest in animals, developed early on in childhood. I find that from my early work, I looked and I was able to locate the same subject matter that I often turn to now as an artist. For example, images of animals from the zoo. I've spent a lot of time here in Bloomington Normal going to the Miller Park Zoo, which I think is a fantastic place. In fact, I got my original idea for scarlet ibises from seeing ibises at the zoos and at Miller Park Zoo. I was fortunate in that I was able to travel with Dale to Trinidad and Tobago. In Trinidad, there's a special location called the Caroni Swamp, and this is the area where the scarlet ibises rest and nest, and in the morning they get up and fly to Venezuela to feed. We sat in a small dugout canoe and we watched the ibises return from their feeding and land in this special Caroni Swamp, and we were able to observe them at dusk coming down like small red parachutes. And also, we traveled in a boat and we actually observed the flight in a period about 10 years later. The 10-year later period comes from the opportunity to have a sabbatical from my job at Eureka College, where I am Professor of Art and Chair of Fine and Performing Arts and Education. This sabbatical allowed me to take time off at a time of year when I wouldn't ordinarily not be teaching. So I was able to go to not only the Caroni Swamp again and visit it 10 years later, but I also was able to observe the turtles, which are leatherback turtles, on the beach at Grand Riviere. Grand Riviere is a location that is known for leatherback turtle nesting sites. I built this show in honor of and in memory of that particular trip. where Dale and I went in the evening and we looked for leatherbacks nesting, or rather leatherbacks laying their eggs particularly, in the dark. And we made films, we photographed, and made some very strong memories in relationship with these magnificent animals. The most important thing when I construct a painting is that I'm being true to the experience that I had. And I find that its memory and its impact is lingering, and it reoccurs and returns to me. It's important to me to work on a large scale, but because my subject matter is the fragility of nature and the power and the importance and significance of its preservation. Working on a large scale means creating an environment for the viewer that is planned to intentionally draw them into an experience of their own that's similar to the one that I had. My colors are bright in some cases. My gestural marks are expressing the energy and the power of the natural force and the significance of that life force.
Hello, Doug. How you doing? Well, we're pretty good.